Over 1 billion euros, the most expensive player in football history, a World Cup winner in his prime, and then the greatest player ever, all at the same club, at the same time. You will think all this guarantees a Champions League trophy, right? It didn't.
For PSG, the wait goes on. Marseille remain the only French team to have won this prestigious competition.
This is the story of how Paris Saint-Germain spent over 1 billion euros chasing a dream and failed. How they assemble a team that looked unbeatable on paper but crumble when it mattered the most.
Good ball into Karim Benzema! It's in! Karim Benzema strikes again! Real Madrid are back!
But here it's where it gets interesting.
America's number 10, the best number 10 in the world, Messi!
After all those superstars left after the billion-dollar experiment collapsed, PSG finally started playing like champions with teenagers, with unknowns, with players you've probably never heard of. This is a story of obsession, excess, and how everything changed with some teenagers. This is the story of how PSG learned that sometimes less is more. 2010, PSG, a club with history, sure, but not with glory. 0 European trophies. They were big in name only, living in the shadow of Marseille, playing in a half-empty Parc de France, bleeding money. French football was dominated by Lyon. Marseille had the European pedigree. PSG, they were underachievers of French football, the sleeping giant that never woke up. But in the spring of 2011, everything changed.
Nous étions les premiers à vous donner l'information. Dès ce midi, le PSG est vendu à des investisseurs du Qatar.
Le PSG racheté à 70% par un fonds d'investissement qatari.
Qatar Sport Investments walk into Paris Saint-Germain, not as investors, as owners, backed by one of the wealthiest funds on the planet.
Pour la Ligue 1, pour le football français, pour les spectateurs qui iront dans les stades, c'est plutôt une bonne nouvelle de voir des grands joueurs qui risquent d'arriver au Paris Saint-Germain.
With pockets deeper than any club had ever seen. Their vision? Simple. Make PSG the biggest club in the world.
How easy is it for Paris Saint-Germain to target big players in world football?
To be honest, since we bought the club, it was not easy. But today, I think it's much easier. It's not difficult as it was before. I think the players now approaching us to come, to be honest.
Dominate Europe, win the Champions League, not in 10 years, not in 5. Now, the French media call it ambition, but the football world didn't like it. But anyway, QSI didn't care about opinions, they cared about results. And they had the money to buy them, right?
Et de ce moment-là, j'ai dit ok, c'est fini. J'ai appelé mon agent et je lui ai dit je veux aller à Paris Saint-Germain.
Tout seul.
Summer of 2011, PSG's first transfer window under Qatari ownership. They didn't waste time. Javier Pastore from Palermo for 42 million euros, a record signing for French football, a statement of intent. But it was just the beginning. The next summer they bring players like Thiago Silva, Zlatan Ibrahimovic, Ezequiel Lavezzi, Lucas Moura. Suddenly PSG had world-class players in every position. Carlo Ancelotti arrived as a manager, a coach who had won the Champions League twice. This wasn't a project anymore, it was a superpower under construction, and it worked, domestically at least.
Je te laisse faire la fête et la communion avec le public du Parc des Princes.
PSG win the Ligue 1, their first title in 19 years. The sleeping giant was awake, Paris was relevant again, the Parc de France was sold out every week. Celebrities filled the VIP boxes. The city had a team that could be proud of. But Ligue 1 was never the goal, it was just the appetizer. The real obsession? The trophy with big ears, the Champions League trophy.
Paris Saint-Germain welcomed Porto in the Champions League on Tuesday. Both teams are already through to the next round, but PSG must beat the Portuguese side to finish top of Group A. Porto will be feeling confident after beating PSG 1-0 in the reverse fixture. But for coach Carlo Ancelotti, there may be more at stake than first place in the group. The Italian could be fighting for his job amid reports that the club's rich Qatari owners have lost patience following a terrible run of domestic form.
And the obsession was growing, but the results didn't.
Messi looking to tee it up.
First quarterfinals, PSG was eliminated by Barcelona, then quarterfinals again against Chelsea.
And secure a place in the semi-finals of the UEFA Champions League, hurled in by Ivanovic. Schürrle! 1-0! It's the substitute who makes the breakthrough.
Quarterfinals again, Barcelona again.
Suarez, he's gone all the way through. He went past them as if they were not there.
And then quarterfinals again, this time Manchester City.
De Bruyne shot! De Bruyne scores! City take the lead at the Etihad.
Do you see a pattern? 4 years, 4 quarterfinals elimination. The criticism started pouring in. Ligue 1 farmers, they can't handle the pressure of real European nights. The narratives were brutal, and the worst of all, they were true. PSG could dominate France with their eyes closed, but in Europe, against the elite, they crumbled, they disappointed. And that, for a club with unlimited money and unlimited ambitions, wasn't acceptable. Something had to change. And here I have to say, welcome, Neymar Jr.
Brazilian footballer Neymar has been officially unveiled by his new club, Paris Saint-Germain, on Friday. World record, €222 million transfer from Barcelona.
August 3rd, 2017, the football world wakes up with a headline that breaks the internet. Neymar Jr., the third best player of the planet, is leaving Barcelona. Not for Real, not for Manchester, for PSG. The fee? €222 million. Let's that sink in. €222 million for one player, smashing the previous transfer record by over 100 million.
Jubilation is absolutely the word. Jubilation and then some. You can see the pictures right there. These are the extraordinary scenes that greeted Brazilian striker Neymar at the Parc des Princes on Friday.
But PSG didn't just break the transfer record, they sent a message to every club in Europe. We are not here to compete, we are here to dominate. Neymar was everything PSG needed: skill, flair, the superstar who could change the game single-handedly. The player who would finally get them past those quarterfinals demons. But here is the thing about record transfers. They come with record pressure. But anyway, PSG wasn't done yet. 1 week later, they announced another signing, Kylian Mbappé.
PSG, some serious intent from them once again in this window. We understand they've made an initial loan move for Kylian Mbappé, which includes Lucas Moura moving in the other direction. The proposal is a loan with an agreement to buy next summer.
18 years old, fresh off tearing Monaco's Ligue 1 title, lightning fast, clinical, fearless. Initially a loan, but then PSG paid €180 million in the following summer. That's €402 million on 2 players. The football world had never seen anything like it. Paris now had the 2 most exciting attackers on the planet: Neymar, the Brazilian magician, and Mbappé, the French prodigy, both young and hungry, both capable of winning matches on their own. On paper it was devastating. In practice, well, let's get to that. The 2017-2018 season, Champions League round of 16, Real Madrid, this was it, the test. Could Neymar and Mbappé deliver on the biggest stage? First leg in Madrid, PSG loses 3-1.
Lo sigue Mbappé, la pone Mbappé para Cavani, la busca Neymar, Rabiot. ¡Gol! Autoriza Rocky, bajo malos Areola, le pega Ronaldo. ¡Gol! Desbordar, la pone Marco Asensio. ¡Gol! Tampoco el Real Madrid, se viene otro centro de Asensio, la pone Asensio para Marcelo. ¡Gol!
Not ideal, but still alive. The second leg at Parc des France would be different. Neymar will orchestrate a comeback. And then comes the second leg. PSG scores early, then nothing. Real Madrid holds firm, Cristiano Ronaldo scores, and that's it. PSG crashed out in the round of 16. Wait, round of 16? Not even the quarterfinals this time? After spending 400 million euros, they've gone backwards? Yes, they did. The criticism was savage. All money, no mentality. But PSG owners remained calm. These things take time. Chemistry isn't brought overnight. They will be better next year, right? Except they weren't.
Manchester United is looking for a new manager. The club saying Tuesday that Jose Mourinho would leave with immediate effect. His departure comes after a dismal start to the season. United stuck in 6th place, almost 20 points behind deadly rivals Liverpool and Manchester City.
2018-2019, round of 16 again. This time against Manchester United, a United team in crisis, a United team that had just sacked Jose Mourinho. First leg at Old Trafford, PSG dominates, win 2-0. Mbappé scores, Neymar is injured, but doesn't matter. The tie is basically over. And then the second leg comes. Parc des France. PSG just need to be professional, just needs to manage the game, but they didn't. United scores. Then again, in the 94th minute, a controversial penalty. Marcus Rashford steps up, scores 3-1, 3-3 on aggregate. United goes through on away goals. The Parc de France was silent. This wasn't just a loss, this was humiliation. And then 2019-2020 comes. Finally, a breakthrough. PSG reaches the Champions League final, their first ever, against Bayern Munich in Lisbon. They beat RB Leipzig in the semi-finals. They were one match away from fulfilling the dream. And then the final comes. The match is tight, tense. Neymar had chances, Mbappé had chances, but they didn't score. Bayern does.
They've scored! Oh, there's Lynn! And it's in the back of the net and Bayern have the lead in the Champions League final!
Kingsley Coman, a former PSG youth player, headers the only goal of the game. Bayern wins. PSG loses again. So close, yet so far. Neymar collapses on the pitch after the final whistle. Mbappé walks off emotionless. Another year, another failure. After the 2020 final, PSG owners made a decision. If two superstars wasn't enough, they will get the third one.
Now, in the last few minutes, Lionel Messi has arrived in Paris to undergo a medical at Paris Saint-Germain after agreeing a 2-year deal with the French club. The Argentinian star waved to waiting fans from the airport after leaving Barcelona for France.
In the summer of 2021, Lionel Messi leaves Barcelona. The unthinkable happens. The greatest player of all time is a free agent, and PSG doesn't hesitate. They sign him. Now we have Messi, Neymar and Mbappé, the three best attackers in the world of football in the same team, the M&M trio. It sounded like a cheat code, like a FIFA Ultimate Team Fantasy, like something that couldn't possibly fail. And they have a good coach too, Mauricio Pochettino, a manager who'd taken Tottenham to a Champions League final.
Glory, glory, Tottenham Hotspur! In the most amazing Champions League semi-final that most of us have ever seen!
A manager who understood the pressure, the expectations were high. Anything less than the Champions League would be a disaster. Round of 16, Real Madrid again, first leg in Paris. PSG scores a late goal. Second leg at Bernabeu. PSG is winning 1-0, then 2-0 on aggregate. They are crushing.
Kylian Mbappé for Paris Saint-Germain! He scored this time! Well, he might be heading here for next season, but tonight he might be the man who knocks Real Madrid out of the Champions League.
And then, in 17 minutes, everything collapses.
Pressure on Donnarumma. Benzema caused it, here's Vinicius. It's Karim Benzema at the back in it. Luka Modric once more. Good ball into Karim Benzema, it's in! Karim Benzema strikes again, Real Madrid are back!
Benzema scores, then completes his hat-trick. 3-1 on the night, 3-2 on aggregate. Real Madrid advance. PSG players stand frozen. Messi look lost. Neymar almost had a fight with the referee. Mbappé stares into the distance, already thinking about his future. The M&M experiment it lasted one season. One embarrassing season. Messi looked uncomfortable, Neymar was inconsistent, Mbappé carried the team but couldn't save them. The three superstars never clicked. Too many egos, not enough balance, no defensive structure, just vibes and individual brilliance that evaporate when the pressure arrived. 2022-2023, surely they learned their lesson. Round of 16 again, Bayern Munich, first leg in Paris. Bayern wins 1-0, second leg in Munich. Bayern almost destroyed them. 2-0 on the night, 3-0 on aggregate. Messi's last Champions League match for PSG, he was just invisible, a shadow of the player who would won 4 Champions League with Barcelona. The experiment was over, the dream was dead.
America's number 10, the best number 10 in the world, Lionel Andres Messi!
In that summer, Messi leaves for Inter Miami, Neymar leaves for Saudi Arabia. The Galacticos era ends with no glory. Over 1 billion euros spent, 6 years of trying, the best players money could buy, 0 Champions League trophies. The superstar strategy had failed. PSG needed a new approach, they needed a rebuild, they need to rethink everything, and surprisingly, they did. Summer of 2023, PSG look in the mirror and doesn't like what they see.
Transmitirle al jugador la idea futbolística que tenemos y bueno, la verdad es que es un proyecto muy interesante y muy bonito.
In comes Luis Enrique, not as a celebrity manager, but as a builder, a coach with a clear philosophy, a coach who won the Champions League with Barcelona, but who also bring young players to the team, who create a system, who demanded intensity and discipline. His message to PSG board was simple: give me time, give me young and hungry players and get rid of egos. The owners, humbled by years of failure, agree. Mbappé is still there, but his days are numbered. Everyone knows he's leaving for Real Madrid. He's no longer the future, he's the past waiting for an exit. The new PSG is younger, hungrier, less famous and somehow more dangerous. Let's talk about Brady Barcola. Signed from Lyon for 50 million euros, a wing with pace and zero ego. Not a household name, not a marketing dream, just a very good football player. Then Zaire Emery, 16 years old when he breaks into the team. Parisian, born and raised, he doesn't play for PSG, he is PSG. Nuno Mendes, Achraf Hakimi, Vitinha, Fabian Ruiz, young, technical and hard-working players who fit a system, who play for the team, who don't need to be a star. This isn't a team built on Instagram followers, it's a team built on football principles. Luis Enrique's philosophy is clear: possession, pressing, positional play, everyone defends, everyone attacks, no prima donnas. Does it work in Ligue 1? Of course. PSG still has better players than everyone else in France. But in Europe, that's the real test.
Paris Saint-Germain.
Champions League 2023-2024 group stage. PSG is drawn with Borussia Dortmund, AC Milan and Newcastle. A tough group. Not a group of death, but not easy either. Without Messi and Neymar, many predict PSG will struggle, but they don't. They top the group. They played with intensity, with purpose, with a clear identity. Round of 16, Real Sociedad. Not the toughest opponent, but a test. PSG wins, then quarterfinals came. Barcelona, a team rebuilding under Xavi, a team that many consider to be as a favorite to win the Champions League. First leg at Parc de France, PSG dominates, PSG wins 3-2. Second leg at Camp Nou, Barcelona creates chances, but PSG holds firm. They are organized, they are disciplined, they are professional. The match ends 1-1. PSG advanced to the semi-finals. PSG in the semi-finals without Messi, Neymar, with a bunch of players that most people haven't heard of? Yes. In the semi-final they faced Borussia Dortmund, a team that had also overachieved. A team built on youth and energy, just like the new PSG. First leg in Dortmund, a tight match. Dortmund has chances, lots of chances, but they didn't score. PSG doesn't play brilliantly, but they defend well. The match ends 1-0 to Dortmund. Not ideal, but PSG is still alive. Second leg at Parc de France. This is it. The moment that matters. Can this young team handle the pressure?
And after a wonderful first leg in Dortmund, here we are in France's capital city, ready for the second and decisive instalment.
PSG create a lot of chances, Mbappé has opportunities, but Dortmund defense hold on. The match ends 1-0 to Dortmund again.
No wonder they're ecstatic, they deserve all the plaudits.
PSG is eliminated, but here is the thing, nobody calls them chokers, nobody makes memes, nobody laughs. Instead, people are impressed. PSG played well, they gave everything. For the first time in years, PSG lost in the Champions League with dignity. Then May 2024 came. Kylian Mbappé announced what everyone already knew. He's leaving for Real Madrid. PSG response? They don't scramble to replace him with another superstar. They trust the process. And the biggest signing of that summer was a young player from Rennes named Désiré Doué. Not a marketing sensation, just a talented young player who fits the system. They also signed João Neves from Benfica, another youngster, another technical midfielder, a player that plays for the team. The message is clear. PSG has changed. The obsession with stars is over. The focus is now on building a team, a real team. 2024-2025 is the season that's going to prove us how good the PSG team is actually. Without Mbappé, without any superstars, just a well-coached team of good players. In Ligue 1, they win again. In Champions League, that's where it gets interesting. The new Champions League format starts, more matches, more opportunities to fail. But PSG isn't failing, they are competing, they are organized and difficult to beat. They are not the flashiest team, they don't have the biggest names, but they play like a team, they fight, they listen to the coach and respect his plan. Brady Barcola is a becoming star, and not because of social media, because of his performances. Vitinha, Fabian Ruiz and João Neves are running the midfield. Achraf Hakimi is bombing up and down the right flank. On the opposite side, Nuno Mendes is doing the same thing. This team looks like they can win the Champions League. And guess what? They did.
The Champions League final, and either Inter Milan or PSG will be crowned the best team in Europe.
It's the biggest, the most prestigious trophy in club football. Vitinha, it's a lovely ball through Doué, flag stays down, accepted by Hakimi. It's Doué to hit 1 minute in. On it goes in now to Doué. Doué's in! Time whistle! It's history for Paris Saint-Germain. Finally they reach the end of the yellow brick road. Finally they can call themselves European champions. And finally they will get to hold the trophy. And he raises the trophy high. Paris Saint-Germain have won the Champions League in 2025.
A bunch of teenagers did the impossible. They win a trophy that couldn't be won by a team who worth $1 billion. And here is the beautiful irony. PSG spent over 1 billion euros trying to win the Champions League with superstars. They failed. Now, with a fraction of that investment with unknown teenagers and hard-working players, they look more dangerous than ever and they fulfilled their dream. Why? Because football isn't played on spreadsheets, is not played on Instagram, is not played by individual brilliance alone. Football is a team sport. Messi, Neymar and Mbappé were incredible individuals, but together they didn't click. Too many egos. Too many players who needed the ball, too many egos that needed to be managing. Magic alone doesn't win Champions League. Look at the recent Champions League winners, Real Madrid, team effort, Manchester City, tactical perfection, Chelsea in 2021, defensive organization, Liverpool in 2009, intensity and pressing. All of them had stars, yes, but the stars worked with the system. They sacrificed for the team. PSG Galacticos never did that. They couldn't, they were too big, too important, too untouchable. And there is the lesson. The best teams in football history all understood one truth. Stars can win matches, but only teams wins you trophies. And PSG finally understood this now. PSG is still a very, very rich club, but money alone isn't enough. Team spirit can be purchased, mentality can be transferred in. The clubs that succeed long term are the ones that build foundations. PSG is finally learning these lessons.